Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We are live. You know what? Schedule's back to normal now. Graduations, vacation, all the crazy makers that make life go nuts. I think it's back to normal. So, hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for being so patient. Good morning, Paula and Eric. How are you?
Good morning. Cheers. Prospect.
Coffee. Hey, I
Good
know that cup.
morning.
I got that from Mike Panucci.
Mr. Panucci. I got the
I love
Zero cup. It's the only one that shows properly when you display it online because it's backwards.
It's mirrored.
It's mirrored, yes,
It's
and he
your
didn't mean to do it.
default.
And I said, it's like the ambulance. Perfect. When I'm drinking. Hey, Jack Riley, good morning, sir.
Good
How are
morning,
you?
farm
Farm
dog.
dog? Good
Siren.
morning. Good morning, me. Siren, thank you for being such a good mod. I appreciate you. Actually, the first 4 people in chat are moderators. Thank you so much. Oh, all right. So I'm hoping that my vertical stream works today because I got a notification that they wanted confirmation. If you're on the vertical stream, you get a little surprise, and that is a slideshow of not only the coins that we're talking about, but you also get to see a bunch of military images. I can't present that in the landscape mode because of the way that the structure's set up, but if you come from over there, go over there, check out that little slideshow, and then pop back over and join the chat on the landscape mode. I will be putting that and in chat. Actually, Siren, if you could do that for me, you could go out and grab that portrait mode and then throw that in chat. I would greatly appreciate it. Today, as you've seen by the thumbnail, we're going to thank you, Siren. Appreciate you. We're going to be talking not just about the new Privy-Marked that was the pre-sale yesterday from the U.S. Mint. This is the one celebrating the Army's 250th anniversary. We're going to talk a little bit about that coin, but we're going to talk more about the history of the military. There's been some question. I've been in a couple streams where some people just don't have a good concept of when things happen. When did the Army thank you for doing that, Siren. When did the Army come into existence? When did the Navy come into existence? When did the Marines? So I have done a little bit of work for you. So I'm going to generate this. We'll talk about that here in a little bit to show you what's going on. At the end of the stream, I will be putting this in my community page so you all have access. But before we begin, I want to explain something that was said when I was in backing surfers. So I want to ask chat a question. July 4th, 1776, the signing of the Declaration of Independence. But I have a question. Did we have a nation prior to that? And the answer is yes. Now, obviously, the official determination of our country wouldn't be July 4th, 1776. It actually happened later. Actually happened in September at the end of the Revolutionary War. But what did happen in September of 1774 is the establishment of what was called the First Continental Congress. Now, the First Continental Congress was the thing that actually set our nation in play. It's what sent the British Crown to North America, and it's what led to the Civil War, or excuse me, the Revolutionary War, starting in May of 1775. So why do I say that? Well, because in the discussion, it's like, well, the Army was formed before our nation. Unfortunately, that can't happen. You have to have, uh-oh. Hope that wasn't
Sorry.
your coffee.
No.
Okay. You have to have a semblance of some sort of unity. And that happened in the First Continental Congress. Okay. So There's going to be people that disagree with me on this, and that is 100% fine. But what I want people to understand is why I say this. So I'm going to share this graphic with you. We're going to talk a little bit about the history. Okay, so when we talk about the United States military origin, it traces back to the nascent. It's the Beirut, the beginning of the American Revolution. The Continental Army was established June 14th, 1775, even before the Declaration of Independence. And because of that little statement, you see Eric Byer gifted 5 memberships. Thanks so much, Eric. I appreciate you. Everybody who got one, please. Mike Noodle, outstanding. That's beautiful. William E., John Jacobs, Woodsy. Thank you all. Please, Dove Season, say thank you to Eric. I definitely appreciate you, brother. So June 4th, 1775. That was the start of the United States Army. Now, this came even before the Declaration of Independence, and you'll hear people say that this was done even before the start of our nation. But remember that in 1774, the establishment of the Continental Congress was the initiation of our country. It's the one that founded it. It's the Continental Congress that actually made the determination that we needed to have an established continental army. This is when George Washington, this is when um, uh, John and Samuel Adams of Massachusetts, Patrick Henry, John Jay, all these folks came together in Philadelphia, September 1774, to give those grievances against the British Crown. Okay, so that technically, in my opinion, is the start of our nation. So when I tell people that I don't agree that the start of our nation happened on the signing of the Declaration of Independence, that was just pen to paper. The nation had actually started. It was already recognized that we were seeking our sovereignty by the British Crown. Again, I think our technical, my opinion, we started in now 1783. The need for standing defense quickly led to the establishment under the United States Constitution, right? 1783 was the actual foundation of quote unquote the United States. And this is where the Constitution happened, where we granted access to Congress to support the armies and a navy. So even though they were established through the First Continental Congress, it wasn't until 1783 that Congress was officially stated and the United States would be officially formed. But throughout history, the United States military has played a pivotal role in not only establishing our identity, but territorial evolution. Now we look from the Barbary Wars to the Civil War, a number of conflicts that happened throughout the United States. So why did I give you guys a brief history in the United States military? That's because they just dropped yesterday the information on the U.S. Army. Just dropped that privy. And again, that was officially established June 14th, 1775. And it was established as the Continental Army. The initial purpose was to fight for independence in the American Revolutionary War. Now, here's the thing. They were called the Americas. American Revolutionary War. It wasn't the North American Revolution. It was the American. And there was Canada, the French. There were a lot of other people involved in this, right? So we have to be very clear what we're discussing during that time frame. Understand the established and the unestablished boundaries that happen within our nation. When you look at its purpose to defend ourselves against the of the crown, um, it wasn't reestablished again until June 3rd, 17 under the new quote unquote federal government. So there's some important dates, and when you talk to historians, you're going to hear a bunch of different stories regarding this. Now, the history, good grief, I'm saying this again.
Sorry.
The history of the United States Army served as the primary ground combat and it evolved again from a small little force to global power, large scale operations that we today, including peacekeeping, police. It's a long and storied service, battles and campaigns that have shaped not only the United States, but the world as a whole. Now, a lot of people have asked, well, why didn't they drop the Navy? Why didn't they drop the Marine Corps? Why haven't they done the Coast Guard? Why haven't they done the Air Force? And that's because it goes back to when they were established. Again, the United States Navy wouldn't be established until October 13th of that same year. It traces its root back to the Continental Navy, October 13th, 1775. The purpose of this was to intercept British troops, right? And then after the Revolutionary War, the Continental Navy was disbanded. Again, they maintained kind of a merchant fleet. They maintained that kind of presence, but the Navy itself was kind of disparate and reestablished again March 27th, 1704. Now, why was that? Well, they became licensed to protect in a
Pardon
maritime
me.
commerce. Okay? Again, they were looking for piracy purposes. They were looking to protect our coast, to protect our shipping lanes, because again, as a nation, we were new. We were founding the basis of who we were, and majority of our information supplies was shipped in. We needed to protect our borders, and piracy was a massive issue. So the reestablishment of the U.S. Navy grew into what we now have as one of the most naval power forces across the globe. It projects power and protects the national interest of the nation's global oceans. Now, a lot of people aren't aware of this, but the Navy and the Air Force share a common tie. That common tie is cybersecurity. And a lot of people don't think of the Navy being involved in cybersecurity, but the Navy has a huge presence in something they war. And that cyber warfare tied to the Air Force, and then later on we'll talk about Space Force, but that mission of air, space, and cyberspace. The Navy patrols and manages a bunch of that for support of that space and uh, that air, what they call the AOR, the area of responsibility. So we'll be talking a lot about that when we talk about the Air Force. When we go down and we talk about the Marine Corps is the best army the Navy ever had. Kidding. For those of you that are there, Semper Fi, appreciate you guys. But that was done a little bit later, November 10th, 1775. Now, this was established by the Second Continental Congress, and its role was to serve as infantry force aboard naval vessels to conduct the amphibious operations. Again, SEALs and the special forces weren't engaged at that time frame. And the esprit de corps, you all know this. Those of you that are military, you understand that esprit de corps is the brother and sisterhood of people within the military. It doesn't matter what service it is. We pick on each other mainly because we brag about our own service, but we do so out of love and respect. There's not a military member who truly hates another service, but would love to give them a ration of crap, right? This is really big in the Navy and the Marines, because they're like, we love the Navy. They take us to fight. And it's like, well, they're the best army the Navy ever had. It's a great banter. I was in the Navy. Me with Ringmaster Ray was in the Navy. We have a bunch of people throughout here that have served throughout whatever. But you'll hear me joke about that just because that's what I know. That's where I've been. But the Second Continental Congress, again, they were established, and then again, they disbanded after the war, reestablished July 11th of 1798. Now you're going to notice a pattern here. And the pattern was that the protection of arms during this time frame was only in place to serve as a defense against our nation, never meant to maintain a level of power. Unlike many nations in the world where the military had been utilized to maintain or gain power, in our early development, we actually disbanded those items because we wanted a free republic. We wanted to be able to have something that was governed by the citizens. We maintained our militia. We maintained the opportunity to do that. But the distinct military forces were only brought together in wartime. It wasn't until later on that we understood that we needed to have those to not only protect ourselves, but maintain the sovereignty of the United States. Now, I say sovereignty kind of ironically because we were trying to get away from the tyranny of the crown, again, which is sovereign. But we utilize that term, a sovereign nation. As a distinct military branch, the Marine Corps operated as both amphibious and expeditionary forces. Can't try to say. But they were always in preparation for what they call the readiness mission. Now, this is renowned. If you guys know this, they are rapid deployment, right? You get them there, the Marines are the first on. But if you combine those with the ability to get anywhere in the world, Army and Navy, uh, they are the best response to crisis across the globe. And I don't think hear anybody in any service argue that fact. Now, here's a unique one. A lot of people don't realize this, but that the United States Coast Guard was actually established. You go ahead down a little bit here. Um, the United States, whoops, the United States Coast Guard was actually established September 8th, or excuse me, that wrong. It's on the wrong one. Um, August 4th of 1790. Now, this was actually authorized through the Secretary of the Treasury. Now, the Coast Guard has a very unique role. The Coast Guard can be put under one of three. They can be put under the Secretary of the Treasury. They can be put under the Secretary of Transportation, and they can also be moved in the time of military enactment under the Secretary of the Navy or the Department of the Navy. And so the Coast Guard is really unique in that it gets moved to where it's most needed, right? And so they're a very dynamic force, and a lot of people like to crack jokes about them and kind of push them aside. But when you look at why they were put into place, it was basically to enforce tariff and trade laws and to prevent smuggling. That's why the Coast Guard was put into place. Um, the first aspect of this was known as the Revenue Cutter Service, which was created in August 4th. And then on January 28th of 1915, they merged with the Life Saving Service, officially then changed to the United States Coast Guard. Now, again, operating under the Defense or the Department of Homeland Security. I said that wrong. It's not transportation, it's Homeland Security. My bad. It is a branch of the military, and a lot of people don't think that it is, but it actually is a branch of the military. And under times of war, it does get transferred again to the Department of the Navy. Now, the United States Air Force, September 18th, 1947. But the Puddle Pirates, that's funny. Yeah, we affectionately call them Puddle Pirates. He is joking with the Coast Guard. And then uh, when we look at the Air Force became an independent service September 18th of 1907. Now, this happened because of the National Security Act. But if you look back at the Army, the Air Force was actually a part of the Army, and it actually was in what they call the U.S. Army Signal Corps. They were actually part of the U.S. Army Air Corps, and they were that way all the way up into World War II. Hap Arnold, well, you'll hear if you hear me talk, a Tiger talk about five-star generals. Hap Arnold was the first one. He was a general that went from the Air Force, took over the Army Air Corps, became the United States Air Force first general. Brilliant man, really understood strategies. And because of that, because of the things that him and some of the other people that we put in place, and you hear people like Bull and some of those other names, they created a very unique mission. This mission was to secure the domains of airspace and cyberspace. And I know Paul is sitting here going, I know that motto. Um, but they also began to develop advanced aircraft and strategies for global strike and reconnaissance. Now, they have played a critical role. We know this. We know all the way from um, aim high. When we talked about, the first ones that I started to remember when I was a kid, aim high, Air Force, show the jet come across, vertical takeoff. That was always one of the things I remember when I was a young kid looking at the Air Force. But I talked about the Air Force and the Navy combining an establishment. This really happened somewhere around 1990s. And what happened here was its critical role in the domain of cyberspace. The cyberspace function eventually would transfer to the United States Space Force, that is dealing more with the space and cyberspace issue. But the Navy has a huge component in that. Why is that? Well, because you have land, airspace, and cyberspace. And when you look at the controlling factors of GPS, that's maintained by the United States Air Force. But a lot of missile and supporting lines are done by ships. They strategically place people there. They have air capability. Many people know that the Navy has huge air capability as well, and they support a joint mission, especially when it looks at disrupting things so that the Air Force um, get in and perform their mission. But from the Air Force came the U.S. Space Force, and a lot of people crack jokes about this, and I love their logo. I love the fact that they played off Star Trek. I think that's awesome. But this was established December 2019 or 2019. Um, it was created out of a need for increasing strategic for space and national security issues. The adversary in this, again, prior to the Air Force's mission, was looking at space, but a lot of people don't know that their primary function outside of space is cyberspace. That really is a huge component when it comes to when you look at cyberspace and you look at how we do information technology. It's all done through um, satellite communications and things like that. So they have a very unique mission. It is the final branch of military that we have right now. Again, they look at deterrence of aggression, space and cyberspace operations to maintain things like navigation, communication, and ensure the space dominance for the states. This is extremely important as we look at other nations who are coming in and increasing their space programs. The need for communication, the need for collaboration with other ones is extremely important. Now, why did I just give you the 101 on American military? Well, the primary reason for that was to ensure that you guys had kind of a good fundamental basis for that. And again, I'll be putting this information in my community page, so you'll be able to look at that timeline anytime you want. But now I want to talk about what's going to be happening down the road. So there is going to be a Navy privy. There is going to be a Marine privy. But again, they're getting rolled out in the same order as birthday that would exist. 17. So I wanted to give you guys an idea. Again, I've attended a number of streams. A lot of people have that information correct. I wanted to provide this, and even talking with Paula, she's like, "Oh my God, I have not really looked at that." And you guys know that Paula and I are huge military supporters, and not only our wounded warriors but our vets. And it's just something that's good to know. It's good to know your history, but it's good to understand really what's going on. And I just wanted to make that you guys had that information. If they do a 250th Azure, yes, but it'll come out in like 2195 or something like that. Remember, 2019, 2219 will be 200 years. So 2269 will be when they do the privy for the Space Force. There you go.
2269. I don't think I'm.
So we have a little bit of time.
There.
Yeah, the Air Force will be a while too, because that's going to be a little bit. I need to start cleaning. Yeah, I need to start eating cleaner. Yeah, you'll be here for a while. But no, so I wanted to go through with everybody, kind of give.
Pre-order. Mike, that was good.
You want to hear something funny about that, Mike? Here's a little bit of trivia for you. Back in 80s Soviet Union, how many years did you have to get on the waiting list before buying a vehicle?
10. I don't know.
Tiger Stacker super chatted $5 super chat. They came out with the Army first, not Navy. Na 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 na. Yeah, well, only because of birth, but I just, it's okay, not a problem.
Na, 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 na.
Remember that the alpha usually isn't the one in the lead. They stay behind to make sure that the person up front and what they're supposed. Just saying, he's laughing. He's like, yeah, it's funny. Paula was right, actually. 10 years. You had to be on a waiting list for 10 years to purchase a car in 80s Soviet Union. There's a joke that Ronald Reagan told Gorbachev regarding that. And he's like, well, you're going to be here in the morning or the afternoon. The car dealer said, that's 10 years from now. What does it matter? It's like, well, the plumber is coming in the morning. So there's a huge joke. If you guys like Ronald Reagan, go check out that. It's a really good joke.
Bye, Ashes. Have
a good day, Ashes. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you.
Ashes.
So let's go ahead and chat about these privies. What do you guys just thought about what's going on with the Mint and their decision to do? You guys like the direction they're heading in? So we're going to just kind of open this to.
I think everybody already knows my feelings about that.
I think that people kind of know where I'm standing.
Drink my coffee.
I think they're trying to cater to cross-platforming collectors. Not so much with the military ones, but some of the other ones. So I guess time will tell, but it always seems like they're like, second or third to the plate when they should be first.
Yeah. Me, I'm gonna talk about that here in just a second because of this. We talk about turning this on for people who are collecting. You want to say something, Paula?
I just said, and Mike said, if you can't say something nice, and I said, come sit next to me.
Yeah. How many people is this turning off? Right. I think there's a lot of people. Now, granted, there's a lot of people. I wanted to get one, but unfortunately I was teaching a class and wasn't able to get in. I tried to log in and saw an 18-hour wait and then an 8-hour wait and then a 24-hour wait. And I was like, and I just closed it because I needed to focus on what I was doing. Sit there and wait in line. I just said, forget it. But I mean,
I think it was an afterthought, to be honest with you. I think it was an afterthought because they had already released the medals.
Yep.
And I think that they thought, oh, shoot, we probably should have waited on the medals. What are we going to do now? But yeah, I don't know. They're just making money. That's all. It's all about money. Follow the money.
Oh, it sounds like fun, EMR.
Yeah, we'll see when they come out with the ASE with the Coca-Cola privy on it.
Coca-Cola.
I'm telling you, there you go. There's one. Nobody's done it. Do the Coca-Cola privy and see how many people who collect Coke stuff buy one.
Oh, I could guarantee you that one of my friends, she's a Coke.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's where this is headed.
Yeah.
But it could be a total failure. Its time is going to tell.
Well, if you look at, there are people, you look at what they've done in the Canada, Australia, London, that they've done so many different privies. And there are people that collect certain privies, and there are certain privies that people like them.
105, Pedro. $105, Pedro, but they're sold out.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too, because that's just.
There you go. Jackalope would buy a Coke privy ASE.
But I think honestly, this all stems back to that 8th era. And I think it comes back to him saying, And if you watch that interview where they talked about his meeting with Ventress Gibson, where him and his son pulled him across and said, you know what, you guys are missing out because we can essentially, and you go back and listen to it. I'm not making this up. He basically said we can fleece collectors, right? Because you can get them to think that something's rare. Just separate it. You don't want to do 1,000,000 coins because that was what the Star Privy initially was going to be. They said, no, don't do that. Separate it. The small numbers, we'll call them rare. We'll make these vintages. We'll do special labels. We'll do all these labels that are going to be different. And then we'll target everybody that they're going to be rare, 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 low, 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 one of a kind. Don't miss out. He says, I know the collectors, and I know that if we target it this way, we'll be able to sell for way more money. Now, you saw the Star Privy. You saw what they originally went out for. Now you can find them for way less. You can get one ungraded for like 45, 40 bucks. And then they came out with the Eagle Privy, and we see people selling them. Matter of fact, I did that, actually talked about it on Livecoin, where there's a gentleman bragging on Facebook having sold an MS-70 for $3,400 or $3,000 for these things.
I bet the guy he sold it to isn't bragging.
Oh, no. I bet they're few. But there's a lot of people out there that will take this. And we tried to get into a discussion with the gentleman, and him and I, it was really weird. We were yelling at each other without yelling at each other. And when we both decided that we were done, he was like, I love coin information. I sent him the channel number. He looked at it, he commented, and he subscribed. Hasn't said anything, hasn't come into chat. I don't know what his YouTube name is. I know what his Facebook name is. But when we were done, it was like, you know what, let's just agree to disagree and end this conversation here. And he's like, fine, no problem. But we were talking about rarities, and I was going, you want to talk about rare ASEs? He's like, well, you just proved my point because they're all proofs. And I'm like, but that's my point. The V75, that is something you really want to do. The burnished one, the reverse proofs, right? Like those are the ones that they're rare, right? 500,000 isn't a small
by the way.
Right? It's just not. And so for people to gouge things like, yes. I agree.
Yeah,
it would have been nice if they would have done something like that, but that would have caused an uproar.
Well, right? Proving it, right?
Yeah, I think it would have caused an uproar. But
everything causes an uproar.
Yeah, it's just unreal. And again, this one is a lower mintage. And again, when they're talking about 500,000 of the Star and the Eagle Privy, that's not a low number, right? Where you're looking at these Air Force or the Army, the Navy, they're going to be 100,000 of them. That's a much lower mintage, right? But yet, how many of them are they going to run? I think they're going to start running very low mintages. I think they're going to be between 100 and 250,000. I think we're going to see this as a normal number now, because they're going to run these extremely low.
And that's not extremely low.
No, it's
that's
not. Lower. They're going to run lower and lower. No, yeah, exactly. But they're calling them rare. And again, folks, it's important for you to understand, if you want to collect it, That's fine. Okay. If that's what you want to do, we're not telling you not to. We're just telling you to be careful, because most likely, and we've seen this, and we can pull up a bunch of examples if you guys want to, of items that sold for hundreds of dollars that now sell for near spot price, 3-4 years later. They don't maintain their value. And, God forbid something happens to, here's a great example. 2021 emergency run ASEs. Remember those? They were the emergency minted ASEs.
I don't know.
They came in, I don't remember how many of them were minted. They had this thing. They were the the 21, their
2024.
emergency issue, and there's absolutely nothing different between that and the normal ASE. Yeah, yeah. And so what happens if that gets damaged? What happens if, people are like, well, you're an idiot if you damage, a holder. Fires happen, people drop stuff, people move, they leave things out in the sun, they get melted. There are things that happen, right? Accidents happen.
That's right. Sure.
Collector Invest, that's not quite correct. We can show that they just minted 200 plus million of them in May.
What?
USA no longer mints the 1 cent. They're going to be doing it in 2026.
Sure, they do.
Yeah, so you need to get your information correct. We can talk through that later, but it's been shown by the deputy or the secretary of the Treasury that they will be printing them or
Printing.
minting them in 2020. Okay, so that it's going to happen.
They will mint them till they run out of the planches.
Yeah, and
Well,
2026
and that depends
will
on
be
legislation. They're going to mint them if they need them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're going to be done in 2026. It's the
Probably. I'm just saying, until it's written in stone, basically. If they need Lincoln cents, they're going to make them. They'll find a way. I just don't think they're going to sign a new contract to get blanks or planchets anymore.
Well, and again, we've talked about that.
needed.
So what does that actually mean? That the contract could have expired. It doesn't.
Well, what that means is that there won't be any proof for mint sets with cents in them either. So people are speculating about that. Will they still mint them for the proof and the mint sets for collectors? Not if they're not ordering the planchets anymore. Nope.
So there's still a lot of discussion to be had. I'll tell you when we'll know is when the legislation's passed.
That's exactly what my point was, Frostbite. When it passes, then you know.
So Collector Invest, there's going to be circulating coinage. We already know that there's going to be a 2026 circulating
That's
set.
right, Mike.
We already know this. There's going to be a business structure. Yeah, we have to see the legislation, Mike. That's exactly right. Right, we have to see the legislation. Until we actually see the legislation, then, again, we can hypothesize all we want.
I believe 600 million cents last month.
Yeah. So again, there's a lot of people out there that are giving misinformation on this.
Okay? There could be 30 billion planchets sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
Well, yeah. I mean, we don't know where. We don't know how many there are. We don't know where they are. A great example. We talked about this before. When you look at the GSA, right here, let's put this up here. Hey, GSA, you guys remember that, right? When the U.S. Mint did their audit and they found all of these, they knew they had some of them. They did not realize that they had that many Morgan dollars at the reserve. They didn't realize that there were this many in there. Like this was, oh, wow, we have way more than we anticipated. So they do audits periodically, but we don't necessarily know how many. Hey, what's up, Copper Owl? Good to see you.
Morning, Copper Owl.
And so this is a testament to the fact that, we don't necessarily know how much they have of what and where. Okay. Go back and read the GSA story, right? Again, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of people who are taking the information that we have and they're making hypotheses based off of what they think is being said. Until we see legislation, we will not know for certain what's going on. It's just that.
Okay, I'm sorry. They minted a little over 200 million last month. So far, there are 1,265,600,000 cents.
Share your screen. Go ahead and pull it up.
Well, I have it on my tablet.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Just up till now for this year, 1,265,600,000 cents between Philly and Denver.
And so, what does that mean? So let's think about this. We looked at the numbers in May. and we saw a 200 million increase in those coins, right?
Yeah.
So that means they
Through May.
minted a ton of coins.
Mhm. So 5 months, January,
Yeah.
February, March,
So
April,
be careful
May.
where you guys get your information. Okay. And again, we have to, without fail, we have to see legislation where it says the cent is no longer going to be done. Okay. Until we see that, it's just talk. Let's share this really quick. And I
The
will.
funny thing about privies, I just want to go back to that for a second, is that for whatever reason, people have gotten really excited about privies over the last couple of years. A lot of people don't even know that the eagle on the back of the Franklin half dollar is a privy.
Yep.
Every single innovation dollar has a new privy on it.
Well, that and the
Every single
original
one.
mint marks were actually privies.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you go back into the
Yeah.
1700s. I mean, there's French francs that have the cornucopia privy
Right.
back in the 20s.
Yeah.
You look at the arrows, you can consider that kind of a privy when they change the composition of coins.
But they only put the eagle on the back of the Franklin because it was in the legislation that every coin, I believe, every coin had to have an eagle.
Yeah, I mean, you go to the reals. If they weren't minted in Spain, they were minted like in South America. They had a Privy-Marked where they were minted at, and that's what they actually called them.
I don't know about that. I don't know about the mint marks, but
So
Here's the numbers if you want to see them. This is what we're talking
yeah,
about.
there
here.
it is.
Okay?
That is just through May.
That's just through May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and again, this number was 1,065,000,000 at the end of April. You can see that they've increased by 250 million. But so again, and this, remember the really rare nickels that were supposed to be there? Yeah, they're not so rare anymore.
and I think we're already approaching 2024 numbers, aren't we?
For the nickels, yeah,
We're past it in the nickels.
I think we've passed it. Yeah, we passed.
But I think that dimes and quarters and everything else are right on track of being very close to 2024.
Yeah.
Now the Kennedy half dollars are an interesting thing because I've kind of been, I don't collect them. I've kind of been tracking them this year, just because I noticed that the numbers were very low. They have not minted any new Kennedy half dollars in the last 3 months, I think. So that number has stayed stagnant. They minted them for like the first couple months of the year, and so far they have stopped. But I don't know what that now. An interesting thing is because I don't know this for a fact, but what I am hearing is that after 2026, the Kennedy half dollars will look completely different.
That's right. There'll be a redesign.
Yeah, there'll be a redesign of the Kennedy half dollars. So
whereas the Roosevelt
this may be the last year that the Kennedy half dollars have the same look that you're used to.
Yeah, the Roosevelt dimes will go away in 2026 to their different design, then they'll come back.
Yeah, all of them are coming back except for the half dollar.
Here's an interesting Lincoln cent dilemma. We pay a lot to mint Lincoln cents.
Pay more for nickels.
But when we get rid of them, we're going to have to pay even more to mint nickels.
Because they have to produce more and
a nickel right now is around 12 cents to make a nickel. And that's because they actually have
14 cents.
Well, it might be now. There's actually 7 cents worth of nickel in a nickel. And even though it's only 25%, 75% copper, I believe.
Yeah, whenever they remove whenever they remove a denomination, they have to increase the next highest.
Yeah, to
increase the numbers of the next highest denomination.
So instead of 400 million, you're going to have 2 billion nickels being made. So if they were smart, they would just get rid of the nickel too and go to the dime, because that's the one they make the most money on. It actually is the cheapest to manufacture.
Well, if they were smart, they'd get rid of the dollar bill too. Maybe the
That's
$5
actually in the
bill
legislation.
and just keep the coins.
From what I understand, there is one of the legislations, I think there's 3 of them now,
Yeah.
says to get rid of pennies, dollar bills, 50-cent pieces, $2 bills, and replace them with coins. Then you'll see the innovation dollars or whatever dollar they produce go up into the billions in production.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of ramifications. When you get rid of the Lincoln cent, it's just not as easy as we're going to save $800 million by not making Lincoln cents. And that's a fictitious number.
You know what I want to see though? It's really easy. No, yeah, no problem, Paula. It's really easy to say that this is what's going to happen. I really want to see, before I make any assertion as to them going to print more nickels, is what does this assessment that they're doing right now, looking at that feasibility study? It's in Congress right now. It's part of the requirement to find out what's happening and end this nickel. I'm really curious to see what the end result of that is going to be, because we may find that there's 200 million nickels in the Federal Reserve somewhere. Right.
Well, absolutely.
It may be a non-factor, right? So
you can say get rid of the pennies. They've made 555 billion pennies since the Lincoln cent came out. And I can tell you, every household in this country's got a big old jar of 1,000 pennies sitting in it.
Pennies. Oh, I've got
cents. For those who get offended by pennies, I'll call them cents.
I got a big old $50 bag of wheat cents.
Yeah.
If you saw how many pennies are laying in my house,
I've got bags of them.
The normal person would just roll over.
I had Big Flip.
Want wheat cents?
Yeah, I had Big Flip send me 2 of those through the mail. And my postal carrier called me and she goes, "Listen, you son of a bitch."
That's right. You come get it.
Yeah.
Come pick this damn thing up. And I love my postal carrier. She's funny as hell. But she was like, "Look, sorry, I didn't mean to swear. I just realized I swear." But that's exactly the words that she said when she goes, "You come pick this up." Oh, she's like, "I am not picking up this box."
I have on my shelf as bookends, I have jars of wheat cents. I use jars of wheat cents as bookends. It works.
Yeah, it's it's funny. Good morning, Trust. How are you? So for all of you that come in that I didn't say hi to, again, I apologize for not saying hi. I do want to say hi to Littlefoot. I don't know if Littlefoot is here. He was a brand new subscriber. We were talking about some things. He wants to talk, or she wants to talk, I don't remember which, about Dahlonega and Charlotte. And so we're going to do a discussion regarding the 2 minutes and the history of those, probably next week. So
there's a good
you
museum
can
in Dahlonega too.
Again?
Great museum in Dahlonega.
Yeah, I would. That's one coin. I just want one. I want to get one. Unfortunately, if I had the opportunity to buy one of those, I'd probably just pay my house off.
No, they're not that bad.
Some of them are.
Yeah, some of them are. You just got to get the right ones, because I know that our friend Robbie, he had a few of them, and they weren't terrible. I mean, they're out of my price range because I collect pennies or cents.
Yeah, I don't get gold coins.
But I would love to get.
When I buy $half and stuff, I'm feeling like a big spender at $50.
Yeah, that is one thing that I want to do. I want to get one Charlotte and one Dahlonega mint.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. They're doable for the collector.
Send me one, Mike.
So, but yeah, we'll be talking about that. I was going to do it tomorrow, but we have another idea. Mike's going to come up tomorrow. Mike will be up on panel tomorrow.
Yay!
He says he has an idea. We're gonna hammer that out. So we'll probably do that next week. So I'll work with them, but I want to say thanks to Littlefoot again. If you guys want to hear something specific,
Good morning, Kevin.
I'll send you my extras. Hint, hint.
Okay,
In other
thanks.
words, you ain't getting squat.
I know. Wah, wah.
But I want to say thanks because again, the more that we talk about these things, the more we have these discussions, the more idea that I have of you guys wanting to hear certain. I can do my own thing, and you guys can come every week, and like I'm not really into that. But normally, if one or two people say that they're interested in the topic, there's a lot more. Please feel free to email me and I made my email easier. It's frostbitecoins@gmail.com. No more of that Frost Giants, Frostbite crap. I made it really easy for you. Oops. Can you guys hear me?
We
Yep.
can.
I unplugged my microphone. I moved my hand too quick and unplugged my mic. I have 12 more days until I retire. Congratulations, Jack.
You'll love it.
Make sure you stay active.
Yeah.
So glad you're doing well, brother. I really am. All right. So you two, what else do we want to chat about?
Me. I don't know.
Let's talk about me.
Let's talk about me.
Well, me is probably driving a truck right now.
5 years. Mike, but are you ever going to really retire? Like, I mean, you do.
If you got a job you love, he's probably already retired if he loves his job.
You do coins for a living. Come on. Jack Riley's new article is up on Proxy Blog. Jack, you should put a link to that.
Yeah, Jack, if you're here, go ahead and throw that link in. That's why you got mod rights.
Hello,
what's his new Proxy Blog article on?
Aunt.
What is the new Proxy Blog article on?
Something to do with counterfeits or Morgans or VAMs, if I had to guess.
I know that he was the one that he did on
Standing Liberty Quarter. Look at
there you go.
That's so totally wrong.
Yeah, that's the one that I thought he was dropping. I got to read that one.
Forgot. Bad SLQs. I forgot about that. I have that interesting little, well, I think it's interesting, but not really. But I'm going to tell you guys anyway.
So there is something that I want to read you guys.
Okay.
This was posted by Jack Young, and it was 2 days ago. It was on his Facebook post, and I want to read this to you. It's something that's very important. Again, when we talk about counterfeits, and we talk about the efforts that people are making to really protect the community, he's really there's some people that just really working their butt off. And the email was from eBay, a gentleman by the name of Randall. It says, "Thank you, Jack, for following up with eBay to share your previous reporting channel email and current examples of bad listings. I appreciate your passion for keeping eBay safe and trustworthy among. Currently, I do not have a more direct channel for listing to be reviewed outside of the standard reporting channels. I know from our conversations that utilizing the online reporting feature hasn't been impactful as you had hoped, and many collectors have moved away from submitting reports this way. I would encourage you to continue to use the website to report as much as each one adds data to help improve the accuracy and efficiency of the automated decisions. Many of these reports are still reviewed manually by our trust and safety team. So we actually now have, quote unquote, the name of a team. Hey, please reference your trust and safety team. As much as I would like to be a direct contact in assisting and removing potential unsafe listings, I must clarify my role and my office. We're a small team dedicated to supporting the executive staff. We can take your concerns seriously, but we do not have the resources to be a direct channel for ongoing support and still be able to assist on all of our other inquiries. Please know that I cannot take every report. I will continue to be an advocate behind the scenes for the issues you've raised with these sellers, but within coin categories as a whole. Your passion for eBay is truly appreciated. While we look forward to continue our participation within community, you should have any other concerns or new matters to discuss, please feel free to reach out. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Kind regards, Randall M. So what does that say? Well, exactly what Jack has been saying for quite some time. We just actually have a report. But what we do have now is the trust and safety team. This is an actual team in eBay that if we have any issues, that's beautiful.
Sorry.
Looks legit.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Amanda did that for me.
Nice.
Sorry.
What's that British guy? Yeah, okay.
My first love. Sorry.
That's funny.
Anyway, go ahead. I have this running in the behind
Yeah,
my
so
computer.
so there's a couple things. It's not necessarily eBay, it's the fact that there's so many problems with eBay. But his passion extends far from eBay. His passion extends for the protection of community, right? And this is extremely important when we talk about this. But there is a comment in here from somebody named Barry Johnson. I want to say that his comment probably made me laugh way harder than I should have. And his comment to this was, Southerners say, bless your heart. Now,
Love Barry.
that's kind of what this reads to me. It's kind of like, hey, thank you for your consideration. We're gonna put you on the shelf.
Yeah, I took it as you just suck it up and bend over.
Yeah, and so all I want to say is don't expect any changes from eBay anytime soon.
It's just a step above the Bay bot.
Okay. Yeah, and so now I do appreciate the fact that somebody actually reached out and said, "Hey, we appreciate you, but don't expect changes." But I do like Barry's comment again. If you're not on there with fun with fakes, go check out.
Barry's great.
It's a great one. You really need it. But don't expect any changes from eBay soon. That's basically what that boils down to. The Japanese say, no, thank you very much. Yeah, I love.
Exactly, Mike.
Love some of these comments. Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to, they want, we'll keep reporting. Well, if they know that they're not going to get any action from it, why would people? I think it's double speak. I think it's a forked tongue issue. We talk about the enemy with a forked tongue. This is very much an analogy of that, talking out both sides of their mouth. Yes, please report. Just understand we're not going to be doing anything about it. Let me clarify my role. I won't be doing this. So, but Jack, thanks for posting that. Again, I've talked to Jack quite a lot thanks to Paula. And I've told him, I said, hey, when you present some stuff, I'm going to be sharing it. He's like, dude, right? We need to get that stuff out there. I will always make sure that the people who post that information get their credit. But so thanks for doing that. I appreciate it.
And the information is becoming quite prevalent. You see it in multiple places now around Facebook and on YouTube. So it is filtering down for sure.
Yeah.
I do think your first step should always be to message the seller. But most of the time you don't get anywhere with that. And like Jack said, they just get mad at you. Oh, well. But you go to the source first and then.
That or the seller doesn't reply because he's buried with spam coming through eBay already. So he just doesn't reply to any messages.
Well, and that's a very big possibility, but they can block you as well. So you just don't see their listings. So you got to be careful, because if you're actually trying to identify the fakes that are coming out and you have sellers that are removing you from listing, it's counterproductive.
Oh, you can just sign out.
Yeah, you just sign up for a new account.
Yeah. But who wants, I mean, I don't know anybody that wants 10 eBay accounts. I'm not on there enough. But I do like this one. I'll share this one with you guys.
I'm a kind of a chain of command type gal. So I always believe in going directly to the source first, and then, but and I have had better luck messaging the sellers. I've had better luck.
The legit sellers take it pretty well.
They do, and if you give them like, if you back up your claim, which you always should anyway.
There's a lot of larger coin dealers that are on eBay, and they take it pretty well.
If you can't bring the receipts, keep your mouth shut. You know what I mean? Like, produce the receipts, and then a lot of times they do. They're very grateful. So
this is one of the barbers that he posted. One of the fake barbers that's in it. When you look at this, you kind of see something right off the get-go you don't see.
Wasn't there one that he posted that had an SLQ or something, but the serial number was from a Morgan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a number of these different things. And again, font choice is a big deal. Yeah. The important thing is to note the serial numbers, right? If you're going to be looking for one of these coins, it's important to know some of these serial numbers, because you'll see the same serial numbers used over and over. It's like the one that I did, which unfortunately, by the time I really realized what I was trying to do and tried to get out there, I had messaged the seller. They realized what they had done, and they removed that. That was the whatnot post where they put the two identical peace dollars side by side. Remember that one, Paula?
Mm-hmm.
They put two slabs side by side on the table with the exact same serial number.
Mm-hmm.
And when I called them out, they removed, like the seller totally removed everything. They basically like disappeared. Yeah. So
they're not the brightest bulbs.
Yeah, so you're going to want to do that. And that one, I reached out. We did talk to Blue Ridge Silver Hound. I had reported it up. We had the numbers, but yeah, it's good to know some of these. I mean, again, there's so many numbers out there. You're not going to be able to track them all. But yeah.
So I'm curious about something, though. Going back to what we were talking about before, I'm curious how many people actually were able to or wanted a ASC with the Army Privy.
Put a one in chat if you got one,
put
or
one
you
in chat
wanted one.
if you got one of the ASCs with the Army Privy, and then put a 2 in chat if you're going to sell it right away. I'll put a 2 in the chat. I'll put a 2 in the chat. That I told when we did our live stream, we were talking about this before we went live. I mentioned, somebody asked if I was going to get one, and I said I don't have any plans. The only way I will order one is if it has the potential to be like a quick flip where I'll make a few bucks. Well, it does, and I did. I did, but I was lucky because I got in there before the waiting room became a nightmare. Some people actually had a full day. It said, you have whatever, 24 hours.
Well, and there were other people that we were talking about. I was talking to Stacking Surfer, and he was saying that his changed a number of times during the item, and that he was talking to some other stackers who were trying to get one, and theirs would change. They would go from 3 hours to 24 hours to, and then all of a sudden it would sold out. So there were some people who had massive issues which is kind of sad because I thought they had rectified a lot of those waiting room issues.
I didn't have any issues like that. I got in, and when I first got in, it said I had an hour. And then it quickly, I did not wait an hour. I think I probably waited like 20 minutes. The countdown went a lot faster then. Every once in a while, it would go like, you have like 41 minutes, and then it would go up to 42, and then it would go back down to like 39. And so there was a little bit of fluctuation there, but not like that.
Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, I was teaching a class for work, and I was not able to do it. I tried to log in on my phone, saw it bounced around 2 or 3 times on me, and I'm out.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Eric.
Yesterday for the ASCs with the Army. As soon as they start shipping them, they'll be able to buy all that I want.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. You guys will be able to get a bunch of them.
Actually, Mike, there are quite a few dealers who are paying like $50 over $50 to $100 over the price, like immediately. Actually, before I had an offer before I even bought one. In fact, that was the only reason I bought one. It was the only reason I bought one was because I had an offer. Like, if you're going to get one, this is what I'm paying. And so I'm like, well, all right, I guess I'll try to get one, make a few bucks. So
Be interesting to look back in a year and see what they're going for a year from now.
yeah, I don't know. I don't collect ASCs. I know that some people do. And that's one of the reasons why people are paying the premiums for like the Star Privy because I'm a completionist too. It's the only reason that I still buy like the clad proof sets, the silver proof sets, and the unk sets, because I'm a completionist. So I need one of each every year. And I know that some people are that way with their ASCs. So they need one of all of them. And so they're willing to pay. So I don't know if they'll, I guess they'll probably still consider these part of that. If I don't have an Army and Navy and Marine Privy, then my collection is not complete, which I think is one of the reasons that the Mint does what they're doing, because they're banking on those people, the people that need one of everything, one of all of them to complete their sets.
Well, they're a staple, right? I mean, you got to make sure that you get. You go all the way back to 86?
What? Uncirculated
How far do your unk sets go?
Oh, they go way back. They go back further than that. I think 36 was the first. So what was the first year of the uncirculated?
Isn't that what I said? Or did I say 86?
40s, I think. I not that far back, Mike. I would like to. I don't even know when was what was the first year of the uncirculated sets, Mike? Was it?
Oh, they got them back in the 50s, 40s, I think. I think 47.
40s,
there's an uncirculated set. I know 47.
36 was the first proof year, right? 47. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was like 46 or 40. Okay, 47, 49, whatever. And I would like that because those are like the double mint sets, right? Yeah. Those are not cheap.
And they toned terribly because of the acetate and the cardboard that they were in. Because they were in a square cardboard box.
I do know that the I have a 50, I want to say 53, and the Franklins are spotty.
Well, 53 in general, especially Philadelphia.
They toned like spotty. Like
it's hard to find nice coins from 1952, 53. They're all spotty.
From 59, they're sealed. Okay. Yeah, I think the one I have is, I think the one with the ugly spotting.
Got the white wash spots on it. There was
But,
something about the excess sulfur or something in their wash for those years.
the nickels are gorgeous. Some of them tone purple, some of them tone gold. Like, yeah, they're pretty.
I've
Model.
got
Yeah,
some beautiful
model.
black ones and some beautiful blue ones.
Yeah,
What caused the black beauties?
improper annealing.
Yep.
Improper heat. They used to call them sintered until they realized that there was no sintering involved. So a lot of we've talked about that before. A lot of things that they believed in the past was only because they didn't have the technology to prove otherwise. So they just kind of went by the theory that what's more likely than not. And so as technology improved and they could like test the metals and things like that, they realized that it was an annealing issue, a heating, and not a sintering issue. So yeah, so if you can find them slabbed as sintered planchets, then get them if you like.
There's some of those dates. What is it?
9.
59. I think there's some in 56 too. There's lots of black beauties.
Yeah. But you can get them in any year. Any year that they annealed plantage, you can get improperly annealed plantages. But the black beauties, I think they restrict those to the name Black Beauty. I think they try to only call like 58 and 59 nickels. Yeah. I think so. Don't quote me on that. Do your research.
There's a good video on mint sets. Mike, the Coin Geek, is that it? He got a 1947 sealed mint set and had all the coins graded, and he ended up losing money on
it. He did. Ben. Yeah, Ben.
The mint set together was worth way more than all the graded coins out of it.
He did. I love Ben the Coin Geek because he will take it. He will take a loss
to do it
for education, for, to teach people and so that you don't have to. I think he says that I take a loss so that you don't have to. But I do love him. In fact, Matt Dinger he's going to be interviewing. Ben's going to be interviewing Matt Dinger. I know, Mike. I've tried. So it's funny because either Shannon or Adam, I can't remember, has approached him a couple times at coin shows and asked him to be on Live Coin Q, and he's like, "I'm busy. I'm a busy guy. I don't usually do interviews. I don't know." So we're like, "Well, but we love you." You know who was in Tulsa? That I love these guys. Akusha.
Really? He goes to the fun show every year. I see them every time.
I guess he goes to like the Tyler show. He lives right in that area, but he was in Tulsa. I don't know if he had a table or not, but those guys I like them too.
So and by the way, if anybody is going to the fun show, I will be there in July.
I don't know them personally, but I do like watching them, I should say. He's a great dad and a husband. Akusha is from the Houston area. I didn't know he was married and was a dad. I thought he was like 12. But I like watching them. I like watching the brothers. I like watching when they will film like.
The thing I hate is they're like dream crushers when people bring collections in.
Maybe that's why I like them. Though.
That's probably
they're so nice about it though, and they really they're very empathetic and they try to educate.
He's good at that. That is true.
I really like that.
In January, I'll be there, Jack. I'm going in July also.
Hi, Nick.
It's my local show. It's only like an hour and a half drive away, 2 hour drive.
He has a quality that I lack. And he's very empathetic.
Well, the one brother is empathetic. The other brother is like spender.
It's true. I try to be like that. Yeah. That's my goal. I would like to be able to be like that. But the thing is I think my problem is that over time I've gotten a little bitter, and
No,
I
say it
need
ain't so.
to.
I couldn't imagine working in a brick and mortar store in this day and age. There is just so much
I know.
stuff out there that you have to deal with. And
Yeah.
now I can't imagine having to deal with the coin app shit that's going on. Excuse my language right now. My coin says it's worth $20,000 and it's a 3-cent wheat cent.
Oh, so
Yeah.
and I did a quick little short on one of those. I downloaded the app and pulled out some known ones from Copper Coins. I mean, I've got a whole bunch of them, right? I got an entire book from when you guys do your reveals. I
Yeah.
got the plate coins. I've got all that stuff, and so I put a few of them in. It didn't recognize one repunch.
Nope.
I hate coin apps.
Yeah. But I mean,
I use the only time I use them. How does it look? Only time I use them is for world coins when I just can't figure out one, and usually it's one from Asia. Yeah, it's in Asia somewhere. I'm like,
yeah.
I can't figure it out. So I will take a picture of it and see if, and usually they can't figure it out either, the apps. So
Being in Chicago, I know Mike gets it all. Oh,
yeah.
Lord. That's a lot of people
I
to
want
be
to go.
misinformed.
I want to go to Harlan J. Burke one day.
I do too.
I'm going to go to a coin show one day.
We need to do a special trip,
Yeah.
and you guys need to
I
come
know
to. We need to go to Houston and go to the Great Big Freak.
I would love to go to Oklahoma City in August for the
ANA.
Yeah, and the ANA show in August. I would love to, but we are trying to figure out as the live coin Q&A, we want to go to it probably will be the fun show one year. We would like to set up a table because we want to go to a show that is geared more towards education stuff.
There's a lot of education stuff at the fun show. There's a whole corner for it.
Yeah, but even like the show in August, that show also I think has a lot of education stuff. I think.
Yeah.
That's the guy with 3 boys and Matt. Yeah, I know. He has no time for doing. What? Oh, I'm reading that wrong. Matisse, the guy with 3 boys and is a great dad. Okay. It's not him being a big time. I gotcha. No, it was Ben the Coin Geek that I was talking about, though, that Matt is. Ben the Coin Geek is the one that I was telling you we couldn't get on our show, but whatever.
He does do a lot of stuff, and I get it.
I do guy though. I really do. I think he's very funny and he's very entertaining. He's very personable.
Are you not entertained?
He's not afraid of taking a loss to make a point.
No. Yeah.
His Willet Cack sticker ones, those are the best ones. None of them cut back, and he's just like, oh.
He really is smart. I mean, he knows his stuff.
He does personify the word geek.
Yeah, he is.
He's dry. That's right. But that's what makes him really kind of interesting. Is he's so dry and monotonal through the whole thing.
Hey, Paula, you want to see a pretty fun piece?
What?
You want to see a pretty fun piece?
I do. I like that one you've got up there, though.
So this, you guys know I like.
All of Islands has great coins, though.
You guys know I like my ship coin.
Well, I do.
Don't show no space coins. Don't do it.
Don't you do it.
So this
every
one
time he shows one, I end up buying space coins.
You guys know this coin. This is the one that, if you listen to the Memorial Day, they'll talk about Flanders Fields. This red poppy, that. But this is the one I want.
Pretty.
Light a little bit.
I see something that says force.
if just the light. There you go. See that?
Is that grass skirts and beer? Oh, it's wine glasses?
1921. It's the representation of Morgan and Peace.
Oh my gosh. I like that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I can see there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is cool.
Just pick that
That is
up. That
really
is such a gorgeous. That was one of the things I picked up in the Wounded Warriors project. Just, I was like, that is a really cool representation.
One of my favorite songs of all time.
And
Mike, I love
Morgan's got a booty.
Yeah, baby got back. Oh my God, Becky. Look at her butt.
Look at her butt.
That is so big.
it. Now you got a bunch of 50 and 60-year-old people humming that song in the back of their head.
Yeah.
You're
no joke.
welcome.
Let's see if that. There you go. That allows it. But better. Takes away the
There you
reflection. There you
go.
go. Yeah, that's it's a really cool piece. I really like that. Teresa Di
Yeah, the
Francisi.
models, right? Ann Williams and Teresa Di Francisci, or whatever
Yep,
you, however you say
Francisi.
her
Those are
name.
the wives of the designers. Yep.
No,
Teresa
Not
Di
wives.
Francisi is the wife
One
of
was
the
a-
person who designed the peace dollar.
but one was oh gosh, I can't remember now. One was a school teacher. Thank you, Kevin.
Speaking of, if you want to go see a really interesting interview, go check out the Coin Show podcast and
Yes,
see the one that they did with the only living person currently on a
yes,
coin. That was a really cool interview. Mike, you're more than
Yes.
welcome to throw that in there.
That was amazing.
That was a lot of fun. That was really neat. Yeah, but I thought you'd like this because I like the play on those. It was a really neat, really neat. What's up, James Schultz?
Where was
Good
that
morning.
from? Where's that
Like-
from?
Well, pull that out again.
You're not a being there fan, eh, Azer?
What time is the drop today? What drop? What time is the drop today? What drop? Gumdrop? Raindrop?
Cook Islands.
Cook Islands. That's another mint that has great
It's the Cook
great
Islands.
coin. Speaking, we were talking about how the US mint is always like 5 steps behind, right? Now they're doing the DC.
Yeah.
Um,
Number 3 in line on that one.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah. So and
I get
and it's not even great. Like, the Superman design, the obverse is awkward looking to me. It
Agree.
looks like they cut him off at the knees. And the reverse is it's just weird. I don't know.
I'm not a
It's
fan.
on the farm. Mm-mm.
My daughter said, "Dad, I
Mm.
should submit designs because I can draw better than that."
Yeah, she should. She should.
I reached out
I
to
just
him
think-
and asked the chief engraver, and he responded to me on social media. And I said, "I'd like to have my daughter get a hold of you. How can I do that?"
Mhm.
And nothing, dead, quiet.
Mm.
So I need to go find out the program because they have a program.
You
where
might
can
be
go
able to
follow.
ask Chuck about that, because I just remember Chuck telling me a story that there was a time that he was going to submit designs for coins and he had a way to do it.
Yeah, well, he
there
submitted
was
a few. I
time.
mean, he's got.
Well,
I know he
got a lot of
submitted a
silver
few. He's got
rounds
one.
that-
I got the coin.
Yeah,
Or the
he
round, I
did
should say.
silver rounds. He's done a lot of designs on those.
I've got one of his pieces.
So this was a time when people designed, when normal, average, everyday people designed coins. They had a contest for it. So, yeah.
Show some of those items, Paula. I made you big.
But this is a great book. You guys should get this book. So this guy was on Michael Kittle Rare Coins, had him on his Glendale Coin Club when they used to stream his coin club meetings. And he had him on talking about how he submitted his design for the quarter because they had like a contest. So it says on the back, in crafting the selected prototype for the California quarter, the noted graphic designer Garrett Burke created one of the most successful quarters in the program. But yeah, they've done it. They've done it a few times, had contests and stuff for designing coins. So you should, I'm sure they will do it again sometime. But anyway, you can take it off.
The publisher was Newtona.
Mom looks like a butt.
Mike, the publisher was Newtona. It was published January 5th, 2011. 160 pages.
And it's $5.40-something.
Yeah.
It's not an expensive book at all.
Mm-mm. It's a great one to have.
And actually,
You can take me off.
Only one left in stock, so it's probably gone already. I think I just heard Frostbite click the button.
I did.
Go look at thrift books. Keep an eye on thrift books. Abe Books, ABE. That's where those
Abe's books has got a lot of good stuff.
So does thrift books. Yeah. And you can create a wish list on there too, and you'll get an email when things come available. Yeah. So I get a lot of my books from those places.
I hope Chuck gets.
Or on eBay. Is that where you saw that one on eBay?
No, Amazon. They have
Amazon. Go look on eBay too.
But I hope Chuck gets the permission to reproduce the Die State book by Delma Romines.
Me too.
Yeah, because I think there's only 25 copies of that were printed.
But I wish Chuck would release his book.
Well, it might happen. It might happen. I know that he's talked about it.
It's on Amazon.
He might do a new book.
Frostbite.
Too.
You can take me off of here now.
No, I want to leave you there.
Take me off. Please.
One of these days I'll have to have a live feed with my mug on it.
Hello, Pedro, in case I didn't say hi to you. Good morning.
Is that a different coffee cup?
No, it's the same one. It's just two different.
Oh, all right. I usually use my 55 double die coffee cup, but I didn't have it this morning.
I have a whole collection of cups, coin cups, coffee cups and stuff. I like them. I buy a lot of, like, if I support a channel, a lot of times that's what I'll buy. If they have merch, I'll buy a coffee cup. Except like Coin Show Podcast. I think I just bought their sticker. I was cheap and I just bought their sticker, I think. I can't remember. And then Mike sent me a hat. Oh, yeah. See, I bought their sticker.
Oh, Mike got one too. All right.
Oh, yay. Good. Too bad I don't get like a commission. You do need more swag. You do need more swag, Mike. I bought your sticker, though. So you're welcome. You want Chuck's book? I know. So I got Chuck's book. Somebody in this chat right now
Gave you one. That was freaking amazing.
bought me a copy of Chuck's book. Yeah, if you guys ever look, the way to my heart is through a book. Coin books.
God, I used to have so many coin books. It kills me to know they got flooded out.
I don't have a ton. I mean, I only have that.
Well, I went to
just the top shelf and that second shelf. That's what
a
I
fun
have.
show and bought a couple books from JT Stanton, and he says, "Hey, you want some old books?" And I said, "Sure." He says, "If you take this whole box of books, I'll give it to you for like $20." And it was like the Georgia Gems before Cherry Picker's Guide. It was Georgia Gems. It was all sorts of stuff. Their club meetings for 10 year. Yeah, a lot of stuff on like Two Dates Are Better Than One by Kevin Flynn. Rick Snow books, because he was publishing all those books in a lot of Wexler books, the Nickel book. I think it was Kevin Flynn, Ribar, and Wexler did a Nickel book. Yeah, a lot of good stuff, and they all turned into slush, basically.
I know, it's so sad.
But now I've actually got about 10 books here. Brian gave me a couple books. I'll have to dig them out and see if it's books you got, because it was like a little self-print book. And I think it was by
of course,
Alan Herbert.
Oh, I'm giving you permission.
Mike, go ahead. Please make an announcement.
Announce away.
Go ahead. I don't, probably why I would probably have more books if I was just interested in collecting books, but I'm really interested in collecting books that I want to read. Like, I don't want to just have books just to have books.
This would be interesting because I think it's one of those, they made 25 copy books.
Yeah.
And I think Brian Allen ended up with 5 of the 25.
My favorite one, though, is my editor's copy of the 4th edition of the Cherry Picker's Guide that Ken sent me. I love that. But it's huge, and I need to have the binding redone. But
now I need to know, what's the announcement, Mike.
I know. He's typing. That's how I type.
Kevin, put exclamation point, find me.
I am
just find me. Don't
100%.
enter any additional text. Just do exclamation point, find me. Happy anniversary, brother.
Aw, happy anniversary. 39 years. Oh my gosh.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Congratulations, you two.
That's quite an accomplishment in this day and age. 39 years.
Well, I have probably one of my formers. I probably could celebrate my 39th anniversary of my divorce.
That's what I'm saying. Most people nowadays have practice spouses.
I take all 3 of mine. I don't get 39 years.
I had 3 practice spouses, and practice did not make perfect. So,
well, Mike, it just proves she's doing the Lord's work.
Congratulations, Virginia Campbell Nodelman, on 39 great years.
Congratulations, Virginia.
Proof you're doing the Lord's work, Virginia.
She's a saint.
Mike's like, ain't lying.
Anybody who can put up with a coin burn is a saint.
Someone had to do it.
Oh, it's like my wife. I always tell my wife, like, why don't you defend me like that? I'm like, oh my God, I don't have to.
Yeah, the coins are like splitting wedges. Yeah. You spent what on 1 penny?
Oh, you know what? My wife, I always, depending upon the price, like when I bought my GSA, I'm like, hey, this is what I want to spend. Are you cool with it? And I don't have to ask her, but it's just something that we do out of respect for each other.
Yeah, I do too. My wife, we get whatever we want because we don't buy gifts for each other. We buy ourselves our gifts.
You know what she does for me? Is she gets it in and says, oh, babe, by the way, I bought this. Are you okay with it? I'm like, it just came in. Why are you asking me now? Well, I want
I
your
don't
opinion.
ask
Like,
my
oh, okay.
boyfriend.
Nah, she's funny. I got a good woman though. It took me 3 tries, but I got it.
She's a beauty.
She is.
See, in
She's a
all of
neat
our
lady.
conversation, that makes Virginia an even better spouse than any of us could have, because she did it for almost 40 years now. God, my practice wife, I had a hard time making 5.
Bye, Kevin. Have a good day.
It's easier to ask for
See you later,
forgiveness
brother.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Mike said. Easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Now, I'll remember the first time she found out I paid $100 for a penny, a Lincoln cent. She about lost it. But after that, she was good with it.
Yeah. My son about fell out when I told him how much I paid for my 55 double die.
I almost bought one. If
For
I
a
could,
penny?
2 years ago, I was walking around trying to find it, and everybody just wanted way too much for what I thought they were worth. And in hindsight, I should have just sucked it up and bought it. It's probably on the unobtainable for me coins now,
Yeah.
unless I find one, which probably won't happen. You know, the chances are probably better for me hitting the lottery.
Good morning, Mark. How you doing, bud?
And I guess if I hit the lottery, I could buy one.
Yeah, so for those of you who are just coming in, you're going to want to watch the beginning of the stream. That's where we talked about the launch, the Privy-Marked. We're just doing general chit chat now.
Yeah.
So go back and check
You
that
didn't
out.
get it, Mike? Oh man, I thought you were going for it.
What is it?
I'm going to regret not buying the one I found this year. What did he find?
55 double die. He had that one. He was talking about it on his podcast
Oh.
one time. Yeah, I regret it. It seems like COVID like tripled the value of those.
They have gone up.
You could buy a nice,
mine has doubled since I bought it. Mine has doubled in price.
you could buy a nice one for $1,200 5
I
years
got
ago.
mine from Charmy Harker.
And then you paid full price for it when you bought it, and it's doubled.
I did, and it's already doubled.
She's a great person to buy from, because you know you're getting good stuff, but she doesn't discount anything.
I didn't ask for a discount either.
No,
I mean,
I'm just saying.
So I saved up for a long time for it,
Yep.
and I knew the grade I wanted, and I knew I wanted it to look like. But it took me a long time to find one that I really, really liked. And as soon as I saw that one, I knew that was the one I wanted. So
yeah, I was looking for AU55 to AU58 2 years ago.
AU58.
And I couldn't get one for under $2,000.
Mine's AU58. It's CAC, which I don't
She
know
does,
about,
Mike.
but it's wood grain. It's beautiful. I love it. It's hard to find a really nice wood grain 55, and in AU58, that's what I wanted. Still has some luster. It's nice.
Yep.
I love it.
I'll still look at one, but I doubt I'll ever find one in my price range. So there is a guy that reached out to me last year. I'll have to see. He supposedly had collected about 3 dozen of them over the years. And he said he had one that he would sell me good that was XF, but we'll see.
My most expensive gold coin that I own, I just won. I didn't pay anything for it.
Here's the most expensive gold coin. I got a 1 ounce round, and I think I paid $390 for it.
It's not 1 ounce though.
I bought it in like 2001.
It's a little $5 gold, but it's the only one I have.
Sometimes you can't do the shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Oh man, now you're gonna drive me in a rabbit hole again. I was like watching Aaron's Ancient Coin podcasts while I had COVID, and that shit just puts me in a rabbit hole where I lose my mind. I start getting brain dead over it.
That's why I don't watch it all the time.
It is so.
I'm afraid that that's what's going to happen to me, because I do tend to go down those rabbit holes, and the ancient coins are just one I do not want to go down. I don't want to go down it.
You can't possibly know it all.
I already don't have time for what I do. Like, no, I'm too busy researching other people's stuff.
Me too. I do it all day, every day. But Lincoln Cents, I do it all day, every day. And it's like when I work on my own collection, I feel great because I got 2 or 3 days to, and I work on nickels and half dollars and all this other stuff. And God.
Trade
Mark,
dollars are
that one's gone up, and there's been a lot of coins that have gone up in price, but trade dollars have increased too.
Trade dollars, I've noticed just in the last year, have really.
Yeah, they've gone up quite a bit in the last year.
They are. There's quite a bit of interest in them right now. But
And,
you know what's funny?
lots of
The
counterfeits,
coins do
too.
that.
Yep, they do. They go in cycles. I can remember when I had my business, toners and stuff like that, they went in the junk bucket.
Toners go.
Nobody collected toners in 2000.
Improper alloy mix,
Yep.
all kind of Canadian stuff. I mean, all kinds of coins. They go. They'll have like a spike. An interest in extra V. I'm just kidding.
Oh boy, here we go. At least it wasn't me that. At least you triggered yourself.
Let me tell you about that. Speaking of those extra V cents, those are another one. Frostbite was talking earlier about how coins will, when they first come out, people will spend a fortune on them and then they will drop. Well, the extra V's are one of them, and they are abundantly common.
Abundant. I know a fellow that's got
abundant.
1,000 of them.
Yeah,
because he's been selling them 4 at a time for $100 on Facebook, of all places. And he says, if you ever need any, just let me know. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I got one. And
I have one. It was given to me.
And it was given to me. That's
it. What I care about. I don't like. Yeah, and I put it away. And I don't care if I ever look at it again. I've seen enough of them.
Not a double die.
That one drives me crazy. The most interesting thing about that is that nobody really knows what caused it.
And there's more than one position, even though the one position seems to have tons and tons and tons, and then the other positions are in the hundreds.
And Eric, they are finding them on 2024s now.
I have heard that. They're finding them on 2025s.
Oh, I didn't know that. But
yeah, but it could be just a random die gouge. You don't know.
It makes me wonder then if it's not a master
die. There you go.
Master hub thing, right?
Yep.
Because if they're finding them on multiple years, they use the master hub for multiple years. So I don't know. A hub gouge, yeah. So
I'm not going to put my neck out there. I've heard so many reasons why it happened that it just created more confusion in my brain, and it's just like it's an anomaly. That's what I'm going to leave it as.
Something in the design or something. I don't know. Jim thinks that that it has something to do with the dial feeders. He thinks it has something to do with the dial feeder. Yeah.
That's a different one. I heard something from him where he thought it was debris on the hub or debris on the master.
Hubbed in debris.
Yeah.
So that was my initial thought, was that it was some type of hubbed in debris. But Ken thinks that it has something to do with the dial feeders that none of us will ever know unless we can get our hands on a die.
And that's it. People should probably be looking all the way back into the earlier dates.
Yeah.
For it too, because it was something that was just found in abundance. And it was around Syracuse, New York, I think, is where the big masses of them were found.
Dimes. Mark Lewis, there's a lot of feeder damage on dimes, quarters.
Now, I was reading one of Pete Apple's article on feeder fingers, and him saying that after 64 or 65, there's no feeder finger damage. Because they didn't use, the presses changed, and they didn't use feeder fingers on them anymore.
Yes, they did. No.
I'm just don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, I don't. I think maybe you read that wrong.
It could have. Well, they did change the presses. I do know that.
Yeah, but they didn't. So he may be talking about when they went to a gravity feed. When they went.
I think that's what he said. But you always saw feeder fingers.
They still use feeder fingers. There was dial feeders for ejection, and
right.
Yeah.
When I'm saying feeder fingers, I'm looking at a specific mark that was on the coins, and it's not just Lincoln cents. And it always seemed to be like at 10 and 2 on the reverse. You'd see these little straight lines coming back through. Here, do I got?
Oh, and you know what's interesting about that is that also depends on who you talk about, because Ken thinks so. Mike Diamond thinks that those are die gouges from feeder fingers, and Ken thinks that they are dents.
Well, they are dents. Both of them are right.
They're not feeder fingers if they're dents.
Well, it's rare. It's
feeder fingers
into the die itself.
Correct. But they don't. The cause of those two things are totally different.
Yeah, I will look. But it's definitely something in a mechanism that is actually scratching at the die. You can see it just through the wear. Let me see if I can find a picture. I think there's some on copper coins that
it's something on the die for sure.
But it's kind of something specific because you see it year after year after year. Let me look at 57D.
Panning. That's a lot of work. Angry Warrior.
What's up, Angry?
I have my little jet up there and my little tchotchkes. My tchotchkes on my. I think I have 3 quarters up there now.
Yeah, that's the 09 VDB. That's a coin I recently got. That's a good looking coin.
God, going through pictures. I hate going through a billion pictures.
That's another coin though that people think, I see it all the time on Facebook. They're like, someone will say, "Oh, look at what I found," and 09, and people say, "Does it have a VDB on it?" And they get the 09S VDB and they own just the 09 VDB mixed up. They think that it's a real valuable coin. I see that a lot on Facebook. That people, you should get that graded.
That is a subject that needs a lot of research done, and I don't have the time to do it. And that's the double die reverses that are all listed. There's a total mathematical issue with that.
Yeah, how many there are found and how many dies there are.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know me and Brian Allen have talked about it, and I think we've come to the conclusion that there's like possibly 4 die pairs that are being listed as 70-something different dies.
Yeah, it's just not.
But it's totally overwhelming. And
it's like the formative years, the extra thumb. As soon as you get up to 100 different listings or even past 20.
Well, mathematically, that's possible because.
No, I know on that one. I know that.
They made hundreds of millions of coins.
No, I know that. I'm talking about my interest.
I agree.
It's like the 60D RPMs. No, I like them. They're cool.
I got a soft spot.
But there's only a couple of them I care about.
I'm trying to get them all.
You and Art Ring. I wonder if he ever did.
He did.
I have all of his.
Well, he might now because 99 is not 99. 99 is a duplicate, so that's got to be changed.
I have all of the little pins.
That was the one nobody could ever find, and it's because it's 74. I can't find a feeder finger scratch. Normally they jump at me.
Art Rings things.
But I will try and find one this week and save the photos.
He made these little pins.
And then we can go on that tangent next week or something.
Yeah. Well, I could do a lot of teaching on the feeder finger stuff. "45 minutes, maybe an hour." What is that? How close are you to what
We're
is
talking
it?
about panning gold.
Oh. I just put my gold. Klesh sent me a gold
That's
panning
actually,
kit.
I take that back. It's probably 2.5 hours to the Llano because it's over by Oxford and Mason. So it's 2 hours to Austin. It's probably 30 minutes to Llano. So probably 2.5. Oh, good to know. I'll have to go try that out.
Well, I'm gonna get out of here because
Yep.
I need to eat some breakfast, and I've got a plum that's staring me in the. I need to eat and
Staring you in the booty.
staring me in the booty.
All right.
All right.
Well, good to see you guys again. I'm glad I'm back.
See you tomorrow.
I'll be here.
Yep. And
Bye,
I'm going to get a
guys.
hold of Mike because Mike says he has a good idea for tomorrow. So we're going to be discussing that.
Let me know.
Yeah, let me know so
I
I don't come
certainly
in
will.
with my pants down like I always do.
Bye.
All right.
Bye, guys.
All right. See everybody soon.
Thank you too. Appreciate you guys. All right, folks. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming in again. If you missed the first portion of the discussion, we talked about the history of the United States military and how it relates to the privy coins that were just released. Tomorrow is Father's Day. That is a huge fact. So, to those of you who are fathers, a big shout out. I will be streaming tomorrow. And again, I'll be talking with Mr. Have some discussion. So, please come over and join. Again, if your father is still alive or you have somebody who acted as a father figure, please reach out and don't give them a tie. Just tell them thank you. That's pretty much all we need from others. But give a handshake, let them know it's done by somebody again. Tell them that you appreciate them. I am going to go grab some breakfast. Guys, take care of yourselves. Be well, be blessed, and I will see you all in the stream.